Hello everyone, welcome to KK4Z, and I am with the West Georgia Amateur Radio Society, and we are getting ready for Winter Field Day. This is my setup. I have some solar out for my batteries, mainly bringing them out because I haven't used them in a while, so I wanted to make sure everything kind of still works. My antenna is my 80-meter doublet up in the tree, and got it set up. Also, I have my push-up pole. It's up about 25-30 feet for maybe trying to do some 2-meter stuff. And then this is kind of the inside of my station set up. An ICOM 705, Bengali paddles, a wind keyer, memory keyer. My batteries is there on the left, the AH705 antenna tuner. I'm hoping to work some 80 and maybe some 160 meter if I get everything to work well. That's my chair. Up against the back wall is my bed. That ditty bag there is my sleeping bag and my pillows. It's tight but doable. And then, because it's going to be cold tonight, we have that. And that's going to be powered by a 5-pound jug. So as you can see, we have everything from mild to wild. We have some tent campers, some pop top, have one of these little Eskimo ice fishing tents, which in reality is pretty darn nice. I may have to get one of these. It's waterproof and insulated. It'll keep you warm. There's enough room in there for 2 stations. The dinner table, the Gazelle tent, and then we're styling this year. We have a 25 kW generator, and then we have a brave soul who is going to sit outside and operate. I'll be inside my truck. So we are at the Big Oak campground again. We kind of like it out here. No water, but as you can see in the background, a vaulted toilet. And it looks like we have a pretty good representation of the club, and we're about ready to have some fun. All right, I'll check back in later. Alrighty, well, it's about 9 o'clock. I'm still operating. This is my current setup. It seems to work pretty well. I'm having a little issue with keeping the radio connected to the computer. That may just be RFI. But able to tune down to 160 with a 2-to-1 SWR. Made 40 plus contacts CW between yesterday, last night, and this morning. So pretty cool. I did get to work N3FJP, who makes the AC log software that you see on the screen. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to operate today. I'm kind of tired, didn't sleep well last night, and I've done my share, so to speak. All right, that's it. We'll talk to you later. Hello everyone, welcome to KK4Z again. This is a tail end of a video that I shot over Winter Field Day. I shot a couple short videos, and then today I wanted to kind of do an after action report. You know, Winter Field Day is a great thing because you learn a lot about your equipment and about how you operate in the cold. For those that don't know, Saturday night for Winter Field Day got down into the mid-20s, which for us down south, that's pretty cold. We're typically not prepared for that type of cold. And it wasn't real bad, but I wanted to talk about some of the things I experienced with my setup, which is trying to operate in the back bed of my pickup truck with a small camper top. And it was interesting. I'm sitting in one of those little camp chairs. My butt's only about 4 inches off the floor, to give you an idea. A couple things. One, while, setting this up and playing with it in my property, by my house where I am now, oh, it's very nice. It's very comfortable, very fun. But once I got out in the field, there's a couple things I discovered that weren't as much fun. One is, sitting this way, I'm not very far from the wheel well or from the edge of the bed. And so my feet and my legs were getting kind of cramped up. I really didn't have a good way to stretch out. I turned my chair, sideways, and that helped. But I was still kind of cramped. The other thing is, in the center of my bed, I have a 4 by 6.5 foot sheet of plywood. And then I have a little carpet, a little cheap carpet that goes on top of it to kind of make it smooth and help it to insulate a little bit. Except where I was putting my feet. Now, where I put my feet were over next to the wheel well. And so my feet were right against that cold metal floor of the pickup truck bed. And so my feet were getting cold. And that made it kind of uncomfortable. The other thing I discovered is I had a propane heater in here, which was that way into the back corner of the pickup truck. That way is front and that way is rear. But towards the back, this side, in the corner next to the wheel well, I had a little propane heater. And while I was in here operating, I had that heater going, and it got nice and toasty in here. It really did. However, when I went to sleep, I had to turn it off. And right behind me here is where my bed was. My phone is sitting on top of my table, and then I had a spot where when I pushed the chair all the way in, and then I can make a bed there. And that was okay, except I didn't bring enough padding. I used some stuff that I used as a Scoutmaster 20 years ago. And it wasn't as comfortable. And my sleeping bag was really only a 30-degree bag. And even though I put some other things on top of it, I was still kind of cold at night. I didn't sleep well. So I need to get a better sleeping bag for next year. And I really need to move out of this truck, because something else that would happen is, as I was moving things around in here, I spent a lot of time on my knees on hard plywood, and between that and climbing in and out of my pickup truck bed, if you remember, I had a mast on my trailer hitch, so I couldn't open and close my tailgate, so I had to climb in and out through that narrow window. And it tweaked my back. My back's not that good to begin with. And so by Sunday morning, by about 11 o'clock, my knees felt bruised, my back was sore. and I kind of went home a little early. I needed to get some heat on my back. I took a hot shower, and I needed to get some relief in my body. I just felt beat up doing this. And so the lesson learned for that was don't set up in the back of your pickup truck, at least not for an overnighter. I mean, if I came out here for a couple hours, like for a POTA activation, it'd be just fine. And I probably wouldn't have that mast up over there, so I can unfold the tailgate, drop the tailgate, and I have a little 3-step ladder that I can use to climb in and out of. The other thing I discovered is, in the back of my bed, really the only thing I had room for was my table and my radios, and then my sleeping gear and the heater. That was really about all I had room for in here. And so all my other stuff was in the back seat of my pickup, the back seat of the pickup. And when I needed something, I would have to climb out of the pickup truck bed, go around to the front, get something, and then bring back in. And like I said, climbing through that narrow gate in the back here, it was a chore. I'm not sure I would have liked to have done it in my 40s, but it just didn't work out well. I may get an extender for my mast my flagpole mast support, and that way I'll be able to open up the tailgate and be a little more comfortable. But this is why we do things like winter field day. We go out when it's cold, or we go out when it's rain, we go out when it's bad, and we see how our stuff works. Now, good things that happen is I had a couple power packs, a couple batteries here, and they ran my computer and my radio just fine. I did not run out of battery using just the 2 batteries I had. I brought a few more with me, and they work fine. I did have a little battery that I put a little LED light on, and that worked fine. My clothing, when I was wearing it properly, it worked fine. I did get cold sometimes. Like I said, I got tired of climbing in and out and making things work. So what am I going to do for next time? I think I'm going to buy a tent. Either one of those Eskimos or clam ice fishing shelters, or I'm just going to go ahead and buy a tent. They had one of those Eskimo shelters out there, and that worked really well. It was nice and warm. Everybody was comfortable. But when I read about those things, they are not waterproof. They're probably weatherproof, but not waterproof. And I read where these things were actually, seeping through, where they sew the insulation to the back of the to the exterior covering. Excuse me. And so, where I live, we get more rain than we get snow or anything else, and it never stays cold for more than a couple of days. So I'm thinking about getting a tent. I haven't decided which one yet, but one I can stand up in, one I can move around in, and one I can heat. Food-wise, we had plenty of food, had plenty of things to drink. Again, I was just not situationally set up well enough to do this again like this, unless, again, it's like a pod activation where I'm coming out for just a couple hours, setting up, run for a couple hours, and go back home. But I did not like this for a long-term event. I got cold, I got cramped up, and then I kind of got beat up just kind of rambling around inside the back of this pickup truck. I made 40 plus contacts, CW, so my antennas were working. My 80 meter doublet that I used over the weekend worked really well. Got up into Canada, got somewhat west, somewhat northeast. I tuned it down to 160 using my AH705 tuner, and got a 2-to-1 SWR, and that's pretty awesome considering it's only a 130 foot antenna. That would make it a quarter wave on 160. I didn't make any 160 contacts because they had a contest going on, and I didn't read up about the contest, so I didn't know the exchange. I didn't want to muck up their score, but I heard plenty of contacts. There was plenty of people I could have worked. It was that good. So I'll take that antenna out again when I want to do low band stuff, but it worked really well. The truck did fine. We had a lot of fun. Going out there and operating and enjoying yourself and practicing. I can't say that enough. You need to go out and practice your craft under all weather conditions. I've been in lots of different ones. Not too many cold like this. I mean, this is probably the coldest I've been out operating. And I learned a few things. Can I operate there? Yeah. And I need to do better next time and do a few things a little different. So that's all I have. This is my after action report. Like I said, in general, it was good. Just I needed to do a few other things. So that's all I got, everybody. Stay safe out there, and we hope to hear you out there.